Yo, Ecom Rebel here. We are back with another live stream. Alright, so I'm going to do a couple of different things tonight. First of all, we're going to choose a winner. G'day, KY Fish. G'day, how you doing? Thanks for putting some comments in the live chat. Alright, so we're going to get off to the winner first from our last live session. So let me draw that winner now. So we'll do that. So if you haven't done this before, so the way it works is all you need to do is to like and subscribe to the channel, and also put a comment or a question into on the video. Yeah, just if you've got a question you want to find out some information on what I'm talking about, put it in there. If you've got some comments, if you agree, disagree with me, and make sure you put your Bitcoin Cash address there. So because I'm giving away $10 US worth of Bitcoin Cash. And I do that daily. Okay, so you've got to be in it to win it, and I will draw that randomly. I'll do that now. So we've got quite a few people put their comments. Let's select a person now. Pick a winner. Let's see who it is, and hopefully we've got a good question because I'll try and answer these questions. Well, there you go. I have to be a millionaire in crypto 2018. I bet you're excited about that. I've noticed you've been on a few of the live streams, and you finally have won. So congratulations. Let me transfer some Bitcoin Cash your way. So just give me a sec while I transfer that out of my wallet, and he'll be one happy camper. Okay, Bitcoin Cash, send. So I'm using my Exodus wallet. I've done some other videos on Exodus, so you can check them out if you're interested, but really good wallet for desktop. Okay, we're going to put in $10 US. Fee on that, it's 3 cents tonight, a bit cheaper. I think it was 4 cents last night, so that's awesome. Press send. Looks like a good address. Send. And when you receive that, if you can let me know, and just let me know that you received it, that'd be great in the comments. Alrighty, welcome Crypt Boy, hi, and Chanel, which I knew how to pronounce your name. Thanks for joining again. Maybe you can type how to pronounce your name so I don't butcher it each time. I appreciate that. Alright, so we've got our winner out of the way. Let's go to... thinking about what we're going to cover tonight. We'll quickly go through the market and see what's happening with that. So at the moment we've got Bitcoin currently still using CoinMarketCap. You would have noticed there was some drop in some of the prices, and the reason for that I covered in last night's live stream, and it was to do with they've dropped the Korean markets from the way they calculate these prices. So across the board it's dropped, but taking that into consideration, the market should be now they're aware of that and what's happening. We're looking at Bitcoin at 13,868 at the moment, Ethereum at 1,200, Ripple's down. I mean, it's only down 2%, but it's it's trending down in the last 7 days. I mean, it was up to $2.50, even more than that before. So I think I had a quick look today or yesterday. It's possibly dropped 50%. So if you got in Ripple recently, you're probably at a 50% loss if you got in at the top there. Bitcoin Cash at 2,539, moving up about 6% today. That was for the top 4, that was pretty good. Cardano and Litecoin not really changed much. 72 cents for Cardano, and Litecoin 237.16. NEM, not much change, $1.42. IOTA, nice move of 7% and at $3.59. So then we go to 9 and 10 Stellar, at not much change there at 51 cents. And Dash is $1,038. Was up at $1,200 previously, and I think it may even went to $1,300. to check that. But yeah, back to 1,000. So a bit of a pullback there for Dash, but they're back into the top 10. And Neo, Tron, EOS, Monero, Icon, all out of the top 10. Quantum, Ethereum Classic, and Omese Go. So a few of these ones that, if you remember earlier, they were in the top 10. They're no longer in the top 10 at the moment. But some of these ones we know, Bitcoin, Ethereum, Ripple's been there all year. Bitcoin Cash, a newcomer. And certainly jumping up is Cardano. We'll see how long that lasts. Litecoin there has been there for a long time. Nema Oda and Dash has been consistent. So that's sort of a bit of a market recap. We'll go to some of the news. So I'll just jump to that now. So Cointelegraph. I was having a look at the few of the items today. There wasn't anything too exciting. There was a couple of articles that I did see that were interesting. One was, I saw it all over Facebook, and a few people said to me about Warren Buffett admits, well, in this article, he admits ignorance while slamming cryptocurrency. So we'll just click on that one. He did an interview where he was basically saying how cryptocurrencies are going to end badly. I think it was a CNBC. There was an interview that they did, and basically saying that in terms of cryptocurrency, they'll come to a bad ending. When it happens or how, I don't know. That was his answer, and went on to further. But in the same interview, he goes, I get into enough trouble with things I know something about. Why would I, or should I take a long or short position in something I don't know about? So even though he's, an investor out there in the traditional sense of being an investor, he doesn't know anything about cryptocurrencies. And even though there's a lot of similarities, the underlying technology is completely different, and the concept of decentralization and really breaking down what the banks and other companies and positions of like monopolies that companies create, that's essentially the essence behind why Bitcoin was started. It wasn't so everyone could just turn around and get rich. That wasn't the idea behind Bitcoin. So it was just a way for people to to basically transfer, be their own bank, transfer wealth between themselves, and not have the government interfere with that, or the bank saying you can't do that. So that was the idea behind it, and since then it's grown. It's been a long while now. I think 9 years ago. I think it was the birthday not too long ago for Bitcoin. So that was interesting. So Warren Buffett slamming cryptocurrencies. We've seen plenty of this stuff before, and essentially they don't really understand it. So it doesn't matter what he says. Nothing's going to come of that. So the next piece of news I was looking at was something was interesting. No, it wasn't on that one. I think it was on Bitcoin.com under the news section. Now, for you guys, what news are you, like which news sites are you going to? So anyone that's on the live stream, just jot down what news sites you like. Do you go to Bitcoin.com? Do you go to Cointelegraph? Where do you get your news from? Or do you go to Twitter? So I'd be interested to hear what you guys think. So I've got Andre and Old Jenkins. Thank you for coming on board tonight. So if you've got some places where you get news from, I'd be interested to see where you get your news. So one of the ones I saw today was Block Explorer declares a preference for Bitcoin Cash over the Blockstream fork. Now this is going on all over the place. There seems to be every day I see companies switching out of Bitcoin into Bitcoin Cash or into another coin. Basically for transactions, it's getting ridiculous, as we've heard before about the cost of Bitcoin, and they haven't fixed the scaling problem. So yeah, when I saw this article, I had a quick look at it. When you actually go to blockexplorer.com, they actually have a pop-up on the screen that talks about why they're switching to Bitcoin Cash, and eventually they're calling it Bitcoin Legacy. And basically saying it, you know, the Blockstream fork of Bitcoin, it's so radically different from Bitcoin, so they're not going to continue with that part of it, and that's not what they're about. So they'll be switching to Bitcoin Cash, and in the future, they will be removing support for Bitcoin Legacy. So this is seems to be a trend. Now, you might be thinking, oh, well, that's not going to happen. You know, Bitcoin is number one. They've been around for 9 years. They're the leader. They're the king, blah, blah, blah. But let's go back to CoinMarketCap and let's check out the BTC dominance for a minute. We're at 34% at the moment. Now, in the past, Bitcoin was at 90%. If you go back to the beginning, we're at over 94% with the market cap, okay? Now, this has slowly been trending downwards. And this year, just after January, is when it completely just died. It completely went all the way down to roughly, I think, 37%. Now, it did regain some, where we saw it went up to nearly 20K and then since retraced. Right now, it is at a new time low of 33.91%. And why is that? It's because people are, and this is my opinion, I think they're getting sick of the transaction fees. They're getting sick of the slow confirmation times. Why do I have to wait half an hour? Why do I have to wait more than that? Why do I have to wait an hour or 2 hours for confirmation? Why do I have to pay $8? Why do I have to pay $80 or $100 or $500 for a transaction? Okay, so people are getting sick of that, and this is why Bitcoin's losing its dominance. And it won't be long. At the moment, this other coin coming up is Ethereum, which is gaining. As you can see, it's that little silver, so it's gaining. There may be a point in the future where this actually crosses over and the market share of Ethereum or maybe another coin takes over. So, you know, that was something, this seems to be a trend, and it's just something I've seen, but every day there seems to be companies and different projects that are moving away from Bitcoin and moving into either Bitcoin Cash or Dash or Litecoin or Ethereum. So that's something to be aware of. You know, so I'm not saying that you get out of Bitcoin, but it's something you need to look at in the future, especially with, you know, the dominance you can see from here, which is at a low time. So yeah, this is interesting, and this is something that hasn't happened before, but now it has. But back in the past, it was hardly anything for a transaction from Bitcoin, and it's only now that it's a serious problem. Okay, so just thought I'd share that with you. And so I think that was the two. That was the two pieces. There was the blockchain story that I thought was interesting. Then there was, I think that was about it. One more. The Korean regulators launch investigations of Bithumb and Coin1. Now, you know how like basically the government, you know, we've heard stories of them cracking down in South Korea, and South Korea is a big, you know, big player in the crypto market. How do I know that? So if you go into Bitcoin, for example, and this can be for any coin, and you look at the markets, you got this little tab here called the markets. So you click on the markets, you can see now that Binance is the 5% of the volume there. Binance, and then you've got some of these Korean exchanges, okay, down here. So with Bitcoin at the moment, we're getting, you know, no one's really dominating with the volume. Okay, if we go to let's have a look at, we'll just go down, let's try Ethereum. We'll see what it says for Ethereum, because I've seen some of these where the dominance of like South Korea was huge. So we'll just have a quick Ethereum. Okay, so here's an example. So this is the South Korean exchange, Bithumb, okay, which is under investigation right now. Now their volumes, they're at the highest, but they're not included because look at the difference, the pricing. So on GDAX, we're looking at 1190, and then we're looking at 1656 in South Korea. So they're trading at a premium, and essentially, you know, same with Coin1. That was another one under investigation. So they're trading at a premium, and you know, I can understand why, because they're cracking down. But once you have these high premiums, it raises the price when necessarily it's not quite that. So that's why they're sort of taking these out of the equation, and this is pretty standard practice. When you get too far between the prices, you get rid of those prices and you work with it like the average of prices. So they've got mathematics to do that, because it keeps that price, relative. Like most of the people will see that price as being valid, whereas some of these prices, that's way above the market. So so you'll see differences, and so they have a lot of volume, and so now the government in this story, the Korean, we've heard a little bit about South Koreans, and this talks about that the tax service, South Korean National Tax Service, is investigating the company. I think it was Coin1's headquarters, and basically, the way they see it is they want to impose capital gains tax on virtual currency investments. Also, so there's Coin1 and BitThumb, and I think they had, that's right, the police were launching investigations of margin trading transactions, which they seem, they say to be gambling and breach of the Capital Markets Act. But essentially, because they offer a margin trading service, then they're saying that's essentially gambling, and they want to shut it down. Like, this is what governments do. They have these, we want to protect you, or we want to protect our taxation. We want to make sure we can tax you, or we're going to protect the people. So therefore, if you have if you're doing something outside, or we can't tax it, we're going to make it illegal, and we're going to try and shut you down, or cause we're going to somehow tax you in some way. So they're putting the pressure on these. We don't know what's going to happen, but what I can almost say that the people who have accounts in here will try and get accounts elsewhere, because they don't want to be investigated, or they don't want to be taxed. So there'll be a lot of people with that are already moving out, or already in different exchanges and moving out. So you'll see that it's just the way it works. When governments come down on these places, they will then move and find other places where it's outside of the jurisdiction of these people. So that's what I think of that. Of that situation with the Korean. So at the moment, maybe that's caused because of Bitcoin being down. We don't know, but we'll find out. We'll see whether they actually do ban it, or whether they try and regulate it in some way. We'll see what happens there. So let's have a look at the live chat. We'll see what sort of questions we got. All right, Mizo Monahi, hi, please give me. Not sure what you want. Maybe you want to win some Bitcoin Cash. Well, if you want to win that, you just need to wait till this video gets posted on YouTube, and make sure you comment, and make sure you ask a question, and put your Bitcoin Cash in there. That's how you're going to win the giveaway. All right. All right, no worries. Neatly, it's almost lunchtime. Thanks, Andrea. And Krypton, nice info. Thank you. Can they regulate? Oh, they can regulate it, but they can't ban it. That's true. It's like anything. If they try and ban something, people will go underground. They'll move or whatever, but they will probably try and regulate it. So that's very true of what will happen there. Is Korea banning crypto a FUD, or will they pass a law? Any news? Well, it is. I think it does weigh into the market, and that's why Bitcoin's down, the market's down. I would say that's a lot to do with it, because they do have high trading volumes. So I think that is affecting it. But if you look at these other coins in the market right now, that if you like, you might be looking at the market. We're at market cap of 670, when we were a lot more before. Just not too long ago, but at the moment we're at 666 market cap. Okay, but if you have a look at some of the moves just in the last 24 hours, now not all these are big ones, but EOS went up 18%, and it's a 1.5 billion volume there, and we're looking at a 6.3 billion market cap. So there's been a few winners. We got Augur there, 8%. Qcoin shares up 8%. It's good to see Binance coins. Now, I have spoken about this before. Qcoin shares and Binance coins are up. Why is that? Because these two exchanges, a lot of people are moving to, and the reason we know that is because they just reported basically they had so many people moving into these exchanges that they had to limit that. And you would have seen a few people comment on that they can't get in. I actually had a comment before. I think it was, let me have a look here. It was one of the guys was trying to sign up with Binance but couldn't because, here we go. So Jason Doc was trying to register with Binance but couldn't. So yeah, there is some still issues with trying to register because they're trying to slowly intake people as not to overload the platform. If you've been on Poloniex and some of the other platforms, when they were onboarding and just taking so many people on board, it would cause like the whole server to crash and get logged out, and there was a lot of issues where people lost a lot of money because of DNS errors, or they couldn't get to the site, or whatever reason. And that's to do with scaling, because they've got to spend a lot of money and time and investment into these platforms, and when they have a lot of people come on. So that was reason these Q coins are up because of that, and I can only see them increasing. They're both at $17 roughly at the moment, because these coins are what you need when you're on these platforms. You would need to purchase these coins if you want to trade some of the other currencies. You can still use your Bitcoin, and you can still use Ethereum, and of course USD Tether, but they have their own coins, and that's how that works. So there was some good moves there from Poet, Digital Note, Enigma, OX, Chainlink, and a little bit from Bitcoin Cash. So there was some big moves in a market that appeared to be not really going anywhere. So you've got to look at some of the coins that are actually moving when it appears to be nothing going on. All right, so because they're going against the trend of the market, so which is good. All right, any more questions? What have we got? Tron's white paper was a copy or what? Well, from the information we've heard about this story about Tron, and I also think a few others where they basically copied the white paper or parts out of the white paper out of other thing. Now, when it comes to forking, different coins, that is acceptable behavior, because you fork different. You fork the code, so then you split the code, and then you start working on development, and you create your new coin, for example, like with Bitcoin and Bitcoin Cash. Okay, and there's been a lot like that. So that's what happens. But when it comes to white papers, surely there be original and not steal from someone else's, or just basically copy and paste. I mean, that's pretty sad, because Tron is a really huge project. We're at number 12 now. It's worth $7 billion, and at the moment our trend the last 7 days hasn't been good. Like, if we have a quick look at that chart, I'll just see if that brings up the last 7 days. Here we go. So let's say look at the last 7 days. See how it hit that high? We went up to nearly 28 cents, and since then it's just been coming down. I don't know, unless Tron can come up with their roadmap and start producing stuff. I think that this could be a trend that continues. So yeah, we'll see what happens with that. But yeah, it is disturbing when you see stuff like a white paper copied or excerpts out of it. So that is a bit of concern. All right. There was a few other comments that I saw just randomly. There was one, this one here, I have to be a millionaire in crypto 2018. So I'll answer that question because he's won the giveaway. So he'll be excited. Basically, I think you think that you can't do that, or it's not reliable, and perhaps you haven't seen or don't sort of imagine what it would be like. So picture Ethereum, okay? So The way to describe it is, we'll go back to here, CoinMarketCap, and we'll go Ethereum. Now Ethereum is at $1,200. Okay. All right, so Ethereum was, you can see back in January last year, so 2016, we'll go back to 2015, it was around about $1. Let's say, even went down to 65 cents, 55 cents, and about $1. Let's say you got in maybe 2015 at $1, and you put $1,000 in it. Okay, so if it's at $1, and now it's at like 1,200, so that means in the last 2 years it's went up roughly 1,200, or even if you bought it 15 cents, it would up 3,000x. But let's say 1,200. So that means 1,200 times your $1,000. That would be, you'd be a millionaire. So if you invested just a small amount of money, $1,000 into Ethereum, and held for the last 2 years, you'd be holding $1 million worth of Ethereum right now. And Ethereum can still continue to go up. So you think, well, okay, how does that relate to the ICOs? Well, basically this represents a lot of coins where they start out in the beginning, maybe there's not much happening, and eventually, and in this case, the market started taking off, the price started rising, and a lot of the projects came out, and Ethereum's now being like, it's useful, the platform, and everything that's happening with it. So as it becomes more useful, it becomes more valuable. So if you go to, let's say, ICO drops, for example, and you look at ICO stats, when you have a look at some of these ones, okay, so these are some that have already happened. We can now sort them by their ROI, okay? So if we click on this, we can see Icon is at 83x right now. So if you got into Icon when that happened, and that wasn't too long ago, and I know quite a few people that got into Icon and put significant amounts of money into Icon. One guy I know, I think he pulled out 80 grand on Icon, and a few others are similar kind of money, 20, 40, $60,000 in Icon. Because if you put $1,000 in and it goes to $83, that's 83x. So your $1,000 becomes $83,000, and this is at only, it's not 100x. Ethereum went 1,000x. Okay, so it's quite possible for some of these coins in the next year or two to become 1,000x. So getting in early and into the right ICOs, because just because you get into something doesn't mean it's going to pan out. But if you learn and take the time to study and really get an education for how these ICOs work, this is life-changing. And when it goes back to this question, that I have to be a millionaire in crypto in 2018, really, is it a reliable full-time job? Well, I wouldn't call it like a full-time job, even though like a full-time job, you're working for someone else. If you're talking about, is it something you enjoy doing? Is it going to give you what you want? Already, some of the people in the group are at that stage, at the 100K, 200K level, and I've got a few, probably in the next 2 or 3 months, there'll be some people in the community that will be leaving their jobs and doing this full time. So, that is the power of it. And you only need something like an Icon, at 80K, or sorry, 80x, Tron at 58x. So some of these coins, if you'd gotten into, they absolutely change your life. And you wouldn't be working a job. Now, you could say, well, the whole market could crash, and that would be the end of that. Well, the market's been going for, since Bitcoin's been going. And yeah, we've had some retracements, but it's still resilient, and it keeps going because people believe in the concept of crypto, and they believe in that idea. So yeah, so to answer your question with can you do it, you know, full time and really make a full time income out of it? Yes, you can, because it only takes one ICO, whether it's 10x, 20, 30, 40x. If you put in $1,000, $2,000, $5,000, $10,000, at the, you know, in a short space of time, it might take 3, 6, 9, 12 months, and it might continue to grow like some of these ICOs have. And basically, when you're getting in that stage, it completely will change your life. Okay, there'll be, you know, some things you've never thought of. You'll be thinking of those things. Like, it's just crazy. So it's pretty exciting to see the people in the community get to those levels, and you know that it is a fun thing to have. All right, so hopefully that answers that question. So what we might do, I'm going to do a review. We're at about half an hour mark now, so I'm going to finish up shortly. But I'm going to do a quick review. I haven't done one recently, but I'm going to do a review on something's coming up, Selfkey. Okay, so I'm going to give you a quick. I'm not going to go through full in depth, but I'm going to give you a quick overview of, you know, about Selfkey and what it's about. So Selfkey, okay, is a blockchain-based end-to-end digital identity system with a marketplace, and basically what it is when you've got your identity, you know how you have to have your identity, and you have to keep using your same documents, and you apply and you have to submit those documents. Now, an example of this is when you're doing ICOs. You have to upload your documentation. You have to, you know, show that it's you. You need your addresses. You need utility bills. You need your passport. You need documents. And every time you're sending all that information off, and in a way you don't control it. Once it leaves you, anything can happen. Okay, to that data, and this applies anywhere. Every time you give out your information, it can be used against you, or it can be just used to allow you to do the thing that you were trying to do in the first place. So what Selfkey wants to do is they want to take that information and build like an identity system. And basically you control your identity and your information, your credentials. And then what you do is you then transfer those credentials to an organization. So an example of this would be, let's say you wanted to join an ICO and they have a KYC process, and you have to submit your KYC details. Well, instead of like doing all the uploads and everything like that, that you would normally do, and getting all your documentation together and resubmitting it, and it does take time, literally one click and you'll be able to submit your information and digitally sign it, and they will then know that it is you and it is correct. So this is a service they're providing, and it's not just for ICOs. They'll be doing other things that they're working on. So let's have a quick look at the website. We'll have a look at here. Now they've already had their pre-sale. Now they've sold already 15.8 million. Okay, crowd sale starts the 14th of January, 12 a.m. UTC. Okay, and ends on 31st. And it's actually 2 days away. All right. Now you can join the whitelist there. If you have a look, you can see their hard cap is 20 million. So they've actually sold quite a bit. The hard cap's 20.78 million. There's only a little bit left to participate in this actual token sale. All right, and you can actually check out the video. I won't run that video right now, but essentially you control all your information, all your documents, and then you're able to submit them on the platform. And they'll also have a marketplace to handle that. So if we'll have a quick look. So the token sale, here's the details of the tokens sale. They've got 6 billion key tokens. The hard cap's 21, soft cap 25, but 2.5 million. But they've already pre-sold 15. So I think they'll sell out of their well, not think they'll sell out of the hard cap. But that'll be a no-brainer. So the public sale, there's 5.9. You know, there's only 6 million. Now the token price is 1 cent. Okay, sure, there's 6 billion tokens, but the token price is just over 1 cent. Minimum purchase is $100, and they've limited on January the 14th of the first day, they're limiting it to 3,000 US. So what that means is, you know, you've got a chance. You can either put in $100, or if you don't have much, or you can put in up to 3,000. But if you've got significant amounts, they're not letting you participate because you take that opportunity away from other people to participate in it. And then after the 14th, they'll open it up to maximum of 18,000 in total per person. They're accepting ETH, and basically the distribution will be, so as you can see, that's their breakdown of what they're doing with the distribution of it. 33% is going to the token sale. Okay, and they got a 1-year vesting period for the founding team. Have a look at their proceeds. They've got these things called growth grants. Let me go through. So the private pre-sale's been done. The public's pre-sale's been done. And then we're now onto the 14th, okay, which is the minimum of 100. And there's no bonuses given. And as you can see, if you'd got in a little bit before, but you would have had to have a minimum of 10,000 US to get into it and qualify to get into it. All right, so that's coming up shortly in a few days' time. This is sort of a recap of what they do. It's basically like, the bank might want you, well, maybe a bank's not a great idea, but but there'll be companies that will use Selfkey, okay? They'll use their system and their platform. And essentially, you'll be able to prove who you are by submitting your details through Selfkey to a company, for example, and then they'll instantly know your credibility and that is not broken, that you are who you are, okay? And you'll be able to apply, they're talking about applying for residency and investments and citizenships and stuff like that, and also privacy. Essentially, your documents are private, and they're protected by the blockchain itself, okay? And also they're talking about sending tokens and all, like creating a wallet to do with this as well, so which makes sense. And also talking about precious metal trade and storage. They want to do that, and possibly real estate and products to do with fintech. So they've actually already got a demo, a little bit of history. They've actually started back in 2012, all the way through now, and now the roadmap for the next year. They're looking at the Q1 of actually getting their alpha launched, getting the wallet. Now they're talking about token sales and exchange marketplaces, so they've already got that planned out. They'll be on getting onto the actual exchanges. Q2, they're working with the KYC and other parties involved in that, rolling out different functions in Q4, Q3. They're doing mobile app. I think they're doing a corporate identity desktop app. Trying to work with governments. I don't know how far they're going to get with governments, and because they love having their own red tape. But even if they don't get government on board, maybe they will get certain countries on board, like certain governments, or they'll get a private. Once you can get people using something, they're going to use it regardless of whether the government says it or not. So I think that will be a key thing, and it will take time for this to happen. And then next 2019, they're just developing out more wallets to be able to send and receive, and then also an alpha launch here in a reputation system. So they're going to continue. I think it's a pretty cool ICO. I think we have a look at their team. Who's in their team? As you can see, we've got quite a few in the team. The founder and KYC chain. What else have we got? Terry Lin, product manager, the consulting. There are a lot of people in the product management, Russian sales lead, video animation, growth, community management. Then that design development. That's quite a big team there. And if we go back to Selfkey, I think on this page, I wonder if they actually talk about their team. Sometimes actually mention how many is in the team. Doesn't. That's okay. But as you can see, it's a large development team, and also they got a legal team, advisory. So it's a big operation. It's not like a team of 4 people. Okay, it's quite a few people involved and a lot of experience into making these projects work. So it's pretty solid there. They're trying to partner. These are some of their partnerships that they're going to be doing, and obviously trying to create new partnerships in the future. So I see a lot of things happening for Selfkey. One of the things I think they'll probably go with first is trying to become the #1 KYC integrator for the ICOs. There's so many ICOs listing all the time that people, get sick, and I'm like, it's just crazy doing the KYC, the amount of stuff you got to upload and to prove your identity. And if it was a one-click situation, they would dominate this space. And there'll be, once that product comes to market, I think they got a real demand for it there. That's just in the crypto land. Whereas they'll be outside that, they'll be able to use it in different markets as well. But this will be the first market to be able to, that the demand's there for. So that's pretty exciting. So what I would encourage you to do, if you can always join the whitelist, I would sign up with Telegram. Make sure you do your due diligence. DD. If you don't know much about that, you can always check out my link below with the course. There's a course down below. I've got the link. And if you click on that, go through and check it out. That's got all information on how to get involved in ICOs, the whole process, step by step. And most importantly, I've got a huge community, I think over 200 people in the community now, which are getting involved. Every day they're involved in this process. So yeah, you get access to all that. All right, so that's pretty cool. That's if you don't know anything about ICOs. Yeah, so if you want to know whether I'm getting into it, you'd have to be part of our group, because we talk about this regularly, both on the webinars and also just in the Slack group in general. So yeah, it's pretty exciting stuff. So yeah, I just thought I'd give you a quick overview of Selfkey. But if you want to know more about it, then definitely join our community so I can let you know whether or not it's worthwhile or not. Okay, and I think that covers it for Selfkey. There's a lot more you can check out. You'll see all the upcoming ICOs from ICO Drops. There's plenty of websites like this, but ICO Drops is one of the better ones you can check out. So all you have to do is click on upcoming ICOs, and you will see it there. Alrighty, so let's just have a quick look to see if there's any more questions. And is South Korean news true? Yeah, look, I would say it's true, just to bring that up again, just to do with the South Korean news. I think they are sort of cracking down onto it, but it's like anything. Governments all over the place want to regulate, and it'll just mean that people move to different exchanges. The trading volumes might drop, but it's one country, and basically that's going to move to different countries. I don't think it's too. I think really right now is a great opportunity to be getting into the market when it's not really moving too much. Like when it's going up like it was when it hit like up to 20K, it was like, is it ever going to come back down again? And now we're back to nearly 13,000 on Bitcoin. So it's a good time to get back into the market, and you want to be able to do that before it goes off, because this time next year it could be 10x what it is now. So that's the sort of things you got to think about. Alrighty, I think that's all we want to cover tonight. I thank you everyone for joining me on the live stream, so I appreciate that. Make sure that after the video, you if you're not already subscribed, please subscribe, like, and share if you've got someone that's interested in crypto and you want to tell them about it. And yeah, make sure you put your Bitcoin Cash address. I'll be drawing out another winner tomorrow night. Okay, so I think that covers about it for tonight. Looking forward to seeing you tomorrow, and see you then. Bye.